I welcome all of you to our webinar series, and I am Girija, part of academic solution team at Varthana. And as all of you know, Varthana is non-banking finance company who works in education field to support the schools in two ways. One is the financial way. Whenever the school have any requirement, they provide loan to them. Another is the academic support. So in this regard, we have been conducting a webinars from last more than 1 year, and we have conducted webinar on various topics like smart goal, why, how you can build an inclusive school, why self-assessment is important for schools, and how school can do this technology integration. And in today's in this continuation, our today's topic is budgeting and resource allocation. Before I start with today's topic, I would like to highlight two things here. One is we have been providing a webinar certificate. For that, at the end of the webinar, we will be sharing a feedback form. So I request all of you, please stay till the webinar to get your participation certificate. Let's move ahead and see our today's agenda very quickly. So we'll start with the introduction and session objective. Then we'll talk about the budgeting and its importance. Then we'll talk about the budgeting, resource allocations and steps. Then we'll talk about the tips for better school budgeting, and talk about the Varthana programs, and close our session with the feedback. Before I move ahead with our today's topic and talk about more about it, before that, I would like to know about the participants we have. And for that, I am releasing a poll, and I request to everyone, please do participate on that. You can see a poll on your screen. Please do participate in this to understand what kind of different participants we have with us today. Okay, as you can see, we have maximum school leaders with us. Then we have the school coordinators, and we have people from the other organizations as well with us and other institute. I welcome all of you to our webinar, and I hope this webinar will be fruitful for all of us, and we all learn from each other. Let's move ahead and deep dive into our today's topic. Let's talk about our today's objective. So we'll be focusing on two things in today's session. One is first is to understand budgeting, resource allocation, and its importance for school. And another will be focusing on learn steps and tools for budgeting, resource allocation. So as we know, let's start our topic. As we know, we are in the middle of academic years, and this is the time schools start planning for the next academic year, and they will be start planning soon by December and January. So next for the school will start planning how your next year academic gonna look like, and what kind of resources they will need to fulfill all these planning and complete all these planning. And in that, budgeting plays one of the very important role that, and today's we will be talking on that, the budgeting and its importance. Before I talk about the budget, I talk about today's topic. I would like to know from all of you, when you heard about the budget, what comes to your mind, and what you think when the budget word comes to you and you're hearing the budget word. So please share your thoughts. You can raise your hand, and even though you can share your thoughts in Q&A box as well. And I request to all of you to please participate in this to make this session engaging and make this learning full for all of us. Any thoughts? What do you think when you're hearing the word budget? What you think budget is, as per your understanding? Okay. Meanwhile, let me go ahead with the session. And meanwhile, if anything come in your mind, you can share this in the Q&A box. So, as your budget is something, it's the process which help you to translate your vision and mission into the annual plans. And when you have the annual plans on yearly goals, in that you're assigning the resources against it to fulfill all these plannings. So for example, every year Indian government come with the budget. And what is the motive for that? So India has their own vision and mission. They want to make India more better. So come up to this and achieve this vision, they are come with the budget for the different sectors. So for example, they every year they come with the budget for the school education or for the education. They want to improve the education more better. So they come up here, you can see the budget they have come up for the 2021 2022. They have come up with the budget, and in that they have the plannings as well, and based on that they have allocated the budget or allocated the resources in which they will need what kind of resources, how much they want to spend on this. So this is how we make the budget, and this is how the budget looks like. And budget is something you are putting your yearly goals against the resources you need to fulfill all these goals. So now as a school, why it is important for us to pay attention on the budget and how it is gonna benefit the schools, and why schools should do it, and why it is important for them and their growth. And for that we will be seeing a video, and I'm playing that video with all of you. Before I start the video, please, I have a request. Please see this video carefully. It talks about why the budget is important. And at the end of the video, let's share
your budget works as a roadmap. If you need to go somewhere and you know the destination, but you don't know the directions, you wouldn't just get in and drive and go left or right at the toss of a coin. If you want to make a big profit, at the end of the day, you need to have a plan and a strategy for how you're going to get there. Your budget is your GPS or your street directory on how to get there, complete with road signs and speed camera warnings. By speed camera warnings, we mean you don't get in your car and just drive at 200 kilometers an hour. The same as in your business. You don't just go all out for growth, because you need to ensure your cash flow can cope, so you can grow sustainably. Other reasons to set a budget are reveals waste, aligns priorities, reduces stress, builds new habits, controls spending, develops a sense of ownership within your team, coordinates efforts in your team, improves productivity from a sense of awareness, acts to accelerate financial goals, is a base from which results are measured, and allows you to focus on key issues in your business. To continue learning about budgets, watch our next video, Types of Budgets, or download a budget tips sheet.
Okay, now we all have seen a video. Now I would like to know from all of you, what do you think what the video is saying, why the budgeting is important, what stands out, and how it is going to benefit the school. You can share your thoughts on the Q&A box. What do you think what the video is saying? Okay, roadmap for the progress. Thank you, Dr. Ramsani. Smooth functioning. Yeah, it is correct. Thank you, Drushali ma'am. Any other thoughts? What do you think? What is the standout and how it will help you to help the schools? Meanwhile, if something is coming in your head, you can put that in the chat box. Let's move ahead with it. So as the Dr. Ram Sani and the Tushari said, the budget is something which will help you to give the roadmap, and it will smoothen the function. And there are certain few things, if you are doing the budget, it will help you. It will help you, or it will benefit the school. One is that it will help you to manage the money effectively, because now you know your cash flow, how the money is coming in out, and you can manage all these things effectively. The other thing, it will help you to do the better resource allocation. Now you know how your cash flow and the money and the expenditures look like, and based on that you can allocate and prioritize your thing where you want to focus more. And it will help you to minimize risks, because now you are prepared for everything. If any uncertain things come, you are prepared for this. Like for example, all of the sudden the COVID things came, right? If you have a budget, if you're planned, then easily you can overcome this. And the last we have the if the school is managing everything effectively, doing better resource allocation, and be prepared for the future, it will definitely increase the staff motivation or teacher motivation to work and push their boundaries. Even the research are saying, if a school and the organization are doing the budget, it will improve their performances and growth. Now we have seen, if the schools are doing the budget, how it will benefit them and how it will help them to grow and expand. Now next is how we should do is, I'm pretty sure many of you are doing it, but let's move ahead and see what can be the different ways we can do the budgeting, and what tools and resources we can use that while doing the budgeting. And before I talk about it, what these are, I would like to know from all of you, do you plan your school budget? And for that, again, I'm releasing a poll. Now you can see on your screen, 87% are saying that they are doing the budget, and it is really interesting to know the schools are already starting doing it and know the importance of it. Another 12% who said they are not doing the budgeting, which is fine. Now, if you haven't started, maybe this session will help you to start doing that, or will give you the direction how you can start that. So people who have said yes, who are doing this budgeting. Now, I would like to know from all of you, what do you take in factors you take in consideration while you are doing this budget? What things you pay attention to, take in consideration when you are doing the budgeting? Please share your thoughts either on Q&A, and you can raise your hand as well. Okay. Omkar sir said emergency funds. Anything else you take in consideration while you're doing the budget, and what the step looks like for you when you're doing the budget for your school? Any more thoughts? Any would like to share who said yes? Okay, receive payments, income, expenditure, and other income. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ramsani. Tushari ma'am said expenses and income. Yes. Someone has raised the hand. Riza ma'am, I have given you permission to speak. Can you speak? Can you speak? Can you see? I have given you permission. Okay, ma'am. So maybe facing some issue. Let's move ahead. And there are other responses we have. Omkar sir said the past year financial statement we also take in consideration. He takes in consideration when he's doing budget. Yes, all these things are. Thank you for sharing all these your thoughts on this. And all these things are important and play a major role in it. Like expenditure, income, planning. All these are part of this the budget, and it plays a very important role when we are doing the budget. And let's move ahead and see, and though you're already doing it, let's see what are the other factors and other things you can consider when you are doing the budgeting, and how should you can approach this budgeting steps, and what are the tools you can use when you are doing the budgeting. First is the examine expenditure and revenue. As you guys have said, you are, when you're doing the budgeting, you do pay attention, take consideration about the expenditure and revenue. It is one of the most important aspect and step of the school budgeting. Another is the resource allocation. It is very important when we are doing the budgeting. It plays a very major role in it. And another, it's very important to do the planning and monitoring when we are doing the budgeting to keep things on track. These are the three steps we can follow when we are doing the school budgeting, and this can be totally depend on your requirement and the availability of the resources as well, and requirement of that time, and you can take any one step what you are think is suitable for you. Let's move ahead and see each step in detail and what tools you can use for these steps. The first step is the examine expenditure and revenue. So this is one of the very crucial and important things important thing when you are doing the budgeting, because it helps you to plan very effectively whatever you have and what you're going to do with the income you whatever things you have, the resources you have. Based on that you can allocate. So for that you need to know how your income and the expenditure looks like and the revenue looks like. So revenue is something, is identifying income sources from where the schools are getting money on monthly basis or yearly basis. For example, for the schools the revenue is the student fee or other income sources from the transportation, the books, the curriculum the schools are getting the money. That is the school's revenue. Another is the expenditure. So on which activity schools are spending money on monthly and daily basis to functioning the school. For example, you are giving salaries to the staff and insurance and taxes. There are your expenditure, and on these activities you are spending money. So it is very important to identify this and examine these revenue and expenditure. And there are a lot of resources and tools which are available in the market who can help you with this. There are a few softwares who can help you with this school accounting software. So FreshBooks, Window Accounting, Redicare, QuickBooks. These are the software which can help you to keep the track of the revenue and expenditure you are doing on the monthly and yearly basis. Apart from that, Varthana has also developed their own tool which can help you to keep track of all these things. So let me take you through that tool. Okay, all of you can see that tool on your screen. That is, we have developed this financial management kit for schools, and it will be helpful for you, for the schools to keep record of their finances and keep the data, and based on that they can plan ahead and they can know what resources available for them and they can make decision on that. In the financial management kit, we have four things. One is the revenue. Second is the expenses. One is the cash. Third is the cash flow, and then we have the dashboard. So revenue, as I mentioned before, revenue is something the school are getting from getting income from the different sources in the activities. So we will be using here, and this kit is not only help you to understand for this year revenue, even for the you can predict from next 3 years or next 2 years revenue as well by using this kit. Another, we have the expenses. So expenses again, on which activities you are spending your money or the income you have to make your school functioning. And this this expenses here will help you to give you the clue of the monthly expenses and help you to view spending percent on every items for next 3 years. Again, we have the cash flow. So cash flow is something which can help you to know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out in that particular year. For example, in which particular month and year, how much money you are getting and how much you're spending and how much is remaining with you. And then we have the dashboard, and dashboard will help you to understand everything in a graphical way to get a better understanding of it. Let me take you through the every sheet we have. So first we have this revenue sheet. As I mentioned, revenue we are capturing through this what kind of different incomes schools are earning from the different sources, and based on our research and the feedback from the schools, we have put the incomes from which the schools get generate the sources from which the school generate the revenue, and we have put up the annual students fee, then we have the income from the books, income from the uniform, income from the school transportation, and income from the other sources as well. If you like, if you're thinking these, apart from these, there are other also income sources for you which we are generating through school functions. You can put that in that other income. And you can see here is, we said like we are not doing calculating only current year. This tracker will and this tool will also help you to predict from the next coming years or next 2 years income as well. So keeping this in mind, we have a column for the, if you're thinking expected increase in your number, right? We are calculating the annual fees. What do you think the next 2 years is going to look like? How much strength will increase in next 2 years? You can put here. Again, increase, you think how much income you will increase in next coming years from the book and the uniform. And helping you with this, we have put up the instructions as well, which will help you what this column is saying and what thing you have to put up. For example, for the number per student, please enter the total number for student in each grade. So you have to only put the number of the students. So whenever you have a confusion, you can read this instruction, it can guide you through. So as a school, what you have to, everything is the put up. What you have to do is only have to fill the data which is highlighting the yellow part. Like we have already put up the data for the example. This is the part you have to fill by yourself. Once you have put up the data for every input, and from nursery to 12th, we have given option till 12th, and it depends. If you have a grade till 5th or 6th, you can use this bracket, and till that case they will help you give you the revenue. So once you have put up the data, whatever the income you have from different sources, then once you have done, it will give you the projection from the current year and next to coming years as well, if you have put up the percentage for the next growth you are thinking. So first, it will give you the projection for the current academic year. It will help you to understand every class, how much earning from every class you are getting, and how much the total earning you are from every class you are getting. It will give you the total how much earning or fees you are expecting from this current year, and how much the earning you're expecting from the other sources as well. And here you can see next 2 years as well. So it will help you also understand if you're as you entered is if you see here, the number of students increase, which I'm thinking in my school, I'm thinking the next year the 80 students will increase. So that has captured by the by the tool, and it has given me if my student strength will increase by 80, so how much my fees collection will look like for that particular class, and how much my expected overall collection will look like, and similarly for the next year as well. So this tool will help you to understand how your income source is gonna look like in the current year and the next coming years as well. And based on that, you can make the decisions, and you can find out where you want to spend this money is. Now, another part we have in this, the expenses. So expenses is again on which the school are spending money on. So based on our research and inputs from the schools, we have put out some expenses on which majorly schools do invest money and spend on. So like this staff salary, advertisement, poster, printage, stationery, and something is not covered in this list. If you have another expense, also another expenses apart from this, you can put that into other expenses as well. And here again, we have mentioned the instruction which can help you to what number you have to put here and what information it will need. Again, you have to put information only in the yellow part, which is you can see in the middle. And as I mentioned earlier as well, you don't need to put data for all 3 years. If you want, you can put the data for the first year, the current year. Second year, if you don't want to put the data for third year, which is okay. Here you can see the cell is blank. I haven't put any data for the third year, but still it will give me the calculation what I'm looking for the expenses. Now, once I have put up the data, you can see uh, they have given me the calculation how much money I'm spending on that particular input or the particular target, and what is the expense in you can see in the percentage as well. So if I see the staff salary is the maximum expense for the school and for my school, and the least expense for my school is the annual day celebration and payment to books vendor. These are the least expense for me. So it will help you to understand what are the expenses, how this ratio looks like, and based on that you can make your decisions. And here you can, because I have put up the data for the second year, so you can see the data for the second year as well. And I haven't put the data for the third year, so you can see it is not showing anything. So it totally depends on you how you want to use this. You just want to calculate for the current year, or if you want to calculate for the next 2 years as well or not. Depend on your requirement at that point. And similarly, you can do in the revenue as well. If you don't want to calculate the revenue or income for next 2 years, you don't have to put the data there. So now with the help this, you can know the expenses and the percentage of expenses looks like. And the another part, we have the cash flow. So now we know how much cash flow is something which can help you to understand how much money is coming in and going out on a monthly basis or yearly basis. Now we have calculated our revenue and expenses. Now third is it will help you to understand how much money you're getting on monthly basis and how you're expending that money on monthly basis. So here what you again you can see we have certain areas where you have to put data, and again you have the instructions for this. So what you have to put here is enter students fee collected, enter student income from the uniform, and here you have to do is enter monthly fees collected by the school. So the instruction will tell you, do you need to put monthly or yearly, but here you have to put the monthly only. Once you put all the data, again it's up to you, you want to put for the second third year or not. You can just want to put, if you're planning for next year only, so you can put data for the next year, and if you don't need, you can avoid for next 2 years. Once you put the data for these inputs, here you can see it will again automatically shows you how your income flow will look like, how much money you're getting every month and how much money you're spending every month and how much you're left with it. So in the cash flow output, you will see the income flow for the every month. From here in the April, you can see how much money you are getting, 9 lakh or something. Then expense outflow means how much money you're spending on your task. So if let me just summarize, if the screen was not visible for others as well. So we have in this tool, we have 4 things: revenue, expense, and cash flow. So we have talked about so far about the revenue and expenses. So in revenue, this tracker will help you to understand how much revenue you are collecting from the different sources, within the 1 year. And it will give you the projection for the next 2 years as well. And same with the expenses. Here you can capture the expense. Here you can capture the expenses which school are spending on, and you can capture from next 3 years. And if you don't want to do for next 2 years, you can totally avoid that, and it will again help you to understand how much you're spending on that particular area and what the percentage of that looks like. Now we are talking about the cash flow. So cash flow is something which can help you to understand how much money coming every month and how much money is going out or you're spending on different activities every month. So here you have to enter your money, enter the income, total income you are getting from every month, and from the student fee collected every month, and enters income from uniform, from transportation, if you have income from the other sources. And once you put the income and the money, what you are getting from the different sources for every month or every year, it will show you how your cash flow or how your money coming in and out every month. So here you can see income inflow means that month how much money you will have. So April, in the beginning you will have 9 lakh or something. Then expenses, it will show how much you're spending because you have calculated the expenses, and based on that it will show how much money you're spending in that particular month. After expending, how much opening leisure is something. After spending that money, how much money opening leisure is something, how much money you have in the beginning when you're starting that month. And closing leisure is something, how much money you will be left with after expending that amount or expenses on different activities. And again, you can see in May, you will see the money you are getting in that month, and the opening leisure will show you how much money you have for that particular month. And again, the closing leisure will tell you how much money you have spending all these on then different activities. So it will help you to understand. If you see, in every month we have put up the data, it will help you to understand in every month how much money you will left with, and how much money you have in the beginning, and how much money you're left with after expending on different sources. So here you can see one more thing, few cells are looking in the red. It showing is the deficit. Deficit means how much money you are lacking in that month after the spending. So for example, in August, when you have started, you have 1 lakh in your hand in that the month you have started with. But after the spending, because you have the expenditure of 2 lakh, after that your shortage of 1 lakh. So that means it is showing in red, like you are lacking that money, 1 lakh money in that particular month. And it is showing, you can see all these red are like you are lacking this much money in that month, and you will need that much money to fulfill your expenditure. So cash flow will help you to understand how much money you will need every month, and based on that you can make your decisions. So now we have the dashboards. So whatever we talked about, the revenue, the expenditure, and the cash flow, here it has in the graphical vision. It will help you to understand like the fee collection, right? In the revenue we have talked about it. So you can see every year how your fees collection looks like in the graphical way, to understand in more better way. And then expenses, how much expenses we have done, we are doing in every year. In expenses we haven't put anything for the third year, so it is showing 0. And here you can see the cash flow, right? We have talked like how much money is coming in every month. Here you can see from September to till June, again it is going down. It means which the cash flow showing in the red, the lack of money we have, and we need more money to do the expenses. So it will help you to understand how you can expend your money and how you can do preparation for the next coming year, and if you be prepared when this short of money will happen. So let me take a pause here. And if you have any question regarding this tracker and what we have, even though whatever the presentation we have taught so far, please feel free to ask. And we will be sharing this tracker and this tool with you, so you can use at your school as well. Okay, Kishore sir, I have given you permission to speak. Please unmute yourself and speak. Kishore sir, can you just hear me? I have given you permission to speak. For that, you have to unmute yourself. You can see that mic logo on your screen. You have to unmute and then speak. Okay, maybe Kishore sir is facing some issues. If you don't have any questions or any thoughts you want to share, then we can move ahead with our session. In between, if you are getting something, feel free to share in the Q&A box. Now we have talked about the examine expenditure and revenue, and we have seen the tools which can help you to capture all these things. Next step would be the resource allocation. So this is very important part when we are doing the budgeting. So you have seen in our the tool which we where we have done this cash flow, where we are understanding how much cash is coming in and out in every month. There are there are few months where we are lacking of the cash and we don't have enough cash or enough money to do the expenditure in that point. So there the resource allocation plays a major role. So you are identifying your available resources, the money you have, and you're assigning them based on your requirement to achieve that goal for that particular month or for the particular year. So, and how you can do that? You can do this. How you can do this resource allocation? You can use this metrics. So here in the metrics, we'll talk about two things. One is what things are important for the school. What are at the high level? You can see one is the medium level and what are the low level. What are the things are important? And based on that, you can prioritize your thing. Another on x-axis, you can see the expenditure. Here from the low and high, how much money and expenditure schools are doing on that particular task, and how high that. And again is if it's fall, if the school is spending too much money on that, it will come under the high. So if you're using that this tool, it will help you to make decision. Especially, it is very important for school to make decision with respect to money, and based on that we can do the resource allocation and prioritize things at that point. So here you can see. First is in the blue thing, high things will come who are high in importance, low on expenditure. For example, for the insurance of the schools, is something is high in importance because we need to do the insurance of the schools and the buildings, but its expenditure is very low. So these kind of things will come here. Again, you can see the red box, things who are low in importance but high on expenditure. So like the taxes, something which if you're it's low, it can be on the importance, but the expenditure is high because you have to pay on every month, on every year. So like that, you can categorize things based on their importance and based on the how much money you are spending. Another, you can see there are things which can come on low on importance and low on expenditure, and there can be things come on high on importance and high on expenditure. Here the staff salary, right, it is very high on importance, but even in the expenditure tool we have seen that is something high in the expenditure as well. So based on these, their importance, and based on your expenditure, you can categorize and allocate your resources and rearrange them and make the decision on that. So there is the tool which Vardhana has developed, which can help you to prioritize your thing and do the resource allocation. I'm taking you all through that tool. Let me share my screen again. So you can, we have developed a tool which can help you to do the resource allocation. So as I said, when we are doing the resource allocation, we are seeing how much money we are spending on the particular task. So here you can see, you can put the items, expense item where you are spending the money on. We have listed few, and if you have another, you think you can have another expenses as well, we have the blank columns you can put there as well. And against that, again in yellow column, we have put the the amount we are expending. So suppose my school, I have these kind of list of items where I'm spending money on, and for me, staff salary every month I am giving is 3,60,000 I'm spending on. So based on that, you can also write amount you're spending on. Once you have done that, then we have the category, and based on that, you have to categorize which are comes under the high importance, medium, and low. So high importance is something like if you won't do expenditure on that, if you don't spend money on that, your school functioning will get affected. For example, staff salary, if you won't pay to the staff, then it will impact your school functioning. And the medium is something, even if you're not spending too much on that, your school functioning won't much get affected with that. And low importance is something, if you're if you, it doesn't matter you're paying money to that or spending on that, it won't impact your school functioning. For example, annual celebration day, it comes under the low importance. If you're not spending on that, it would impact your school functioning. And another column, we have the reductions. Now we have known on which are our expenses and how much money we are expending. We have categorized as well, and based on this importance, how much money we want to deduct from this and cut the budget on this, so we can use that money when we are lacking out of the money which we have seen in the cash flow. So staff salary is something very important for all of us, and it's for my school as well. I can't do too much reduction on that, so I have put up the 40%. If I want to do 30%, I can do that. So it depends on my requirement how much I want to deduct from that, and based like this, you can also put the reduction, how much money you want to cut from that. And if you're cutting that money, also think why you're cutting that money, and if you're cutting that money, how much your school will get impacted with this. And based on that, you can put the amount, put the reductions. And once you have to put the reduction, it will automatically calculate after that how much reduction, how much money you will left with, and how much money you will save. And here at the end, you can see the total cost you will save. So based on that, now you have saved that much money after doing this reduction. You can use that money in the different sources, and whenever you are lacking the resources. So using this tool, it can help you to understand what your how you can arrange and prioritize your resources. So now let's do a small activity here. And before doing the activity, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, so let's do an activity. Whatever we have talked so far on the resource allocation, how you can use that tool, let's do a little bit practice with it. So I am sharing a tool with all of you in the Q&A box. Just open that Excel. Don't use start typing, because I'm sharing that Excel for all of you. Please make a copy of it and then use it. You can see that link I have shared with all of you in the chat box. Please open that link. It will take you to the resource allocation tool. Before using it, because it's online, all are using the same file. Please download or make another copy of it and then use it, and do a resource allocation. And please share how you are thinking for this month, how much you're able to save from it, and how when you are putting the resource allocation and doing the reduction, what was your thought process. People who are requested, I have given the permission to them. Now you can make a copy of that Excel, or either if you want to download, you can download as well. Okay, so whoever requested for that Excel, I have given permission to them, and I can see the people are there as well. Please download this or make a copy of it, and then do the resource allocation. And let's take 2 minutes and do the resource allocation for this month only. and see when you're doing the resource allocation, please share what was your thought process when you are doing the this deductions, and how much money you think you're going to save from it. Sir, you can add the expenses, right? We have put up, if whatever the expenses you want to add, capital expenses or anything, you can add this expenses. We haven't listed any expenses there. Based on your requirement, you can put the expenses. Okay, guys, let's move ahead with our session. Meanwhile, if you think you want to share on whatever the activity thoughts you want to share, whatever the activities we have done so far, and you're trying to do that, you can use this Q&A box. Keeping this in mind, let's move ahead with our session. So next step we have, which we should do and pay special attention on when we are doing budget or budgeting for our schools, is the planning and monitoring. And why it is important? Because when we now we have understood like how our expenses are going to look like, and we have done the, if there's a requirement, if we are coming short in particular month, and we have done the resource allocation as well for that. After that, it is very important to do this planning, so keep everything on the track, and it is very important to keep monitoring it, is because once we have decided, we have put up the goal, so we should have a planning or a path we can follow. And for that, it is very important to, if we should be on, how we can be on track, for that we need to monitor as well how much time and money we are spending on that, and if there's a need of change, so for that we have to do the monitoring as well. So, and how we can do your monitoring, now you have seen your expenditure and resource allocation, this much amount you have, and you want to spend that amount on something else, and you want to plan for it, and you want to plan for next year when you are doing the budgeting, and you need to list down the kind of tasks you want to will be planning for, and you will be monitoring. And how you can do that, there's a tool called Gantt chart which you can use for it. So Gantt chart is something which can help you to give the graphical representation of your task against the timeline. So whatever, it will help you to break down the task, whatever the task you have, and how much time you're going to spend on it, is how much you're able to complete it not. It will help you to keep a track of it. So it will help you first in the planning, what are the what are gonna tasks are gonna look like, and who will be the accountable for that, and what are the time durations you have set up for that. So it will help you to track as well how much you're spending time on it, and how much you're able to complete it or not. So again, I'm sharing that template with all of you. I'm taking you to that template which you can use. Here you can see the Gantt chart. So as I said, Gantt chart will help you in both ways. First is planning. It will help you to break down your task, whatever the task you have, and against that you can put up the deadline as well. So for example, now you have seen your expenditure and the revenue, and you have done the resource allocation as well, and there is a requirement, you have the budget, or you have the budget, or you are setting budget for anything. For example, for the recruitment and training, you want to set up a budget, you have a budget. Now you want to identify, or you have to put down the plan for that. So using that task, using that sheet, you can do it. So once you know you're gonna you're budgeting for the recruitment and training, and you're planning for that, and first, what will the first task for it, and how you're going to approach for that, you can plan here. So you can put the plans, like I have put up the recruitment staff, my first recruit, because I'm putting a budget for the recruitment and training, and so my meeting stuff will be one of my tasks. I want to plan for it. And again, what I'm supposed to do for that. So again, I will do that. I'm supposed to do the advertisement, shortlisting resume, calling for interviews, taking interviews, offering letters, and who will be the responsible for these tasks, who are the accountable for this task, and you can take accountability and the follow up from them. You can put the people's name who's accountable for that, the coordinator, the principal, the teacher, anyone. Then when you're thinking that task will start, and what you're thinking that task will should be finished and will be completed by that day. So it will, once you have done that, like for the advertisement, I want to advertise only for the 3 days. So I have selected the starting date and the due date. That day I want to finish my advertisement. The duration will be the 2 days. I am doing for the 2 days. And if then again, you can see here weekly wise the tracker. Here you can put whatever the task you assign for that particular day. So November was in November, 15 November was the Wednesday. From there, I am starting my project, and I'm starting with my planning, and I'm planning for that. So here, in the first week on the Wednesday, that if my task is not completed, I will mark it, and if it's not complete, I can say yes, no, and what it will help you to know, understand. In the one day you have done the task, and the second day the you haven't done the task. It will help you to understand how much you're able to complete it. Here you can see the task complete ratio as well, based on this, whatever the inputs you're getting from this weekly wise Excel or weekly wise input. Based on that, you can put the how much tasks you're able to complete. So it will help you to understand whatever you have planned so far, are this on the track or not, on how much support you will need to complete that, and what can be the priorities as well, and do you need to replan this or not. So now we have talked about this template. If you have any, let me pause here. If you have any questions, you can ask on this. Any questions on this template, the Gantt chart we have talked about, or the other trackers we have talked about, or the whatever we have talked about in the session so far? If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Okay, so if you don't have a question, so let's do this activity again, what we have done with the resource allocation tool. Again, I'm sharing this Excel with you, and I would request all of you to just start putting the task in it, like for the next 5 weeks, and task. If you are planning to do something, if you want to do the advertisement, if you want to have any plans, you are planning for something, just put for the 5 days and assign the dates as well for them, and share with all of us how you are doing and what your approach for it when you were doing that. Uh, I have I have shared that Excel in the Q&A box. Again, you have to make a copy of it. Now you have a chart in front of you. I request all of you to just plan for next 5 days or for a 1 week, and assign the task, and try to assign the task. And when you're trying assigning the task, please try to break down what kind of activities you will be doing to achieve that particular task. So if you are doing the recruitment, what are the activities you will be doing for the recruitment, and how much time you want to allocate that. Sure, Prakash will mail everything after the webinar. And if you want to visit that, you can go on our YouTube channel as well. That video is available there, and material will be sharing with you. I have given permission to Jhansi Rani. Please unmute yourself. Now you can speak. Okay, so people who have seen this Gantt chart and trying to do that, can you just share your thoughts? Are you able to do it? If you're not doing it, what kind of issues you're facing, and anything you want to know more about it? Anyone want to share anything? How you're finding it when you're trying to put these tasks on weekly basis or on daily basis? Okay. If there's no questions or any thoughts on this, let's move ahead with the session. And if you have anything, you at the end of the session you can ask. Okay, so far we have talked on what steps we need to consider when we are doing the budget, and what can be the tools which can be useful for you when you are doing the budget. And as I said before as well, you can use this tool and use this steps based on on your requirement and availability of the time at that time. Even doing all these steps, there are certain things we need to keep in mind when we are doing the budgeting, which we can help us to make our budgets more better and more effective. And these tips are: first, whenever you are doing the budgeting, it should be aligned with your academic goals and you should keep in mind when you are doing the budgeting. For example, your academic goal can be you want to make this creative learning space or creative learning classrooms, and for that you need to but your blackboard is not visible to the students, and in that case you can't achieve that vision or achieve that goal. So for that you keep a budget for that, and you need to invest on this, make your classrooms more interactive, on more creative space for all of us. And another, when you're doing budget, is like, whenever you're doing budget, your budget decision should be based on your data. So whatever tools we have seen so far, it will help you to understand what the data is saying, and you can use the other tools as well, which can help you to understand what the data is saying, and based on that you can take any decision. So for example, now your blackboard are not visible, and you try to cater that, in last year you have allocated budget for 10 tube lights, and based on that you can take a decision how much budget you want to, and how much money you want to spend this year on the next coming years as well. Another is things we should keep in mind when we are doing the budgeting is we should be flexible and be able to adjust in throughout the year. There are chances few things you haven't planned, but few things come in between, and you have to spend a budget or spend on something. For that, in the budget it should have a room for that as well. So for example, in when you are allocating the budget and setting the budget, you haven't think about like your water purifier will not work, and in the middle of the year stop working, and you need a budget for that. So you should have a room for these kind of expenses, and you can adjust throughout the year. Another is like, when you're doing the budgeting, it is very important to take teachers also consider into the consideration. So generally when we are doing the budgeting, either school leader is doing, or the finance person or accountant who are doing the budgeting, but teachers are very crucial, very important. Who are the these are the people who are gonna convert or implement your programs into the classroom. So it is very important to make them understand about the importance of budget, and make them accountable for these budgets. So for example, if you're doing any school annual function or something, make them understand how they can do this within the budget, and for that you can do the training and coachings with the teachers. Last not the least is, when you are doing the budgeting, it is very important to welcome this disagreements and include the different kind of perspective, so you can avoid the disagreement in the future. So for example, when you're doing the budgeting, you can set this budget committee. In that you can include you can include the parents as well, you can include the teachers from the different sections as well, and you can include the other staff and people as well, and take their perspective, and based on them make the budgets. So when you're doing the budget, please keep these things in mind. So make your school budgeting more better and more effective, and plan, it will help you to plan things in more better way. And with this, we are coming to the end of our session. And let's summarize what we have talked about so far. So we started our session with the budgeting, and it's important. So budgeting is the annual plan and align the resources with your school goals, and it's important for the school performance and growth. Then we have talked about the step for the school budgeting. We have seen the identifying the school expenses and revenue, how we can do the resource allocation, and how we can do the planning and monitoring with using the different tools. And at the end, we had talked about the tips for better school budgeting. So align whatever, whenever you're doing the budgeting, your budget should be aligned with your academic goals, and that the decision should be driven by the data which you're getting from the different sources. Now we are coming to the end to the session. Before ending the session, I would like to talk about the academic solution partner. So we have two academic solution partner which can help you to make your school more innovative and better learning space. So we have one lead, and lead is the integrated and innovative tech-based learning solution. They have the curriculum, they train the teachers, they have the books, they have end-to-end solution for the schools. It can help you to make school more innovative. Another, we have the Kian, and if you're thinking to set up these smart classrooms, right? So this Kian can be one of the best options for you. So Kian is the multimedia computer which has the data projector, TV tuner, audio system, DVD player, and which can help you to make your class room more interactive and creative learning space. And when you're doing the budgeting, you can keep these things in mind. And with this, we are coming, if you want to know more about these programs, so you can reach out to us at the hello at the ratevarthana.com, and you can contact us on this contact number. And with this, we are coming to the end of our session.